Ladies and gentlemen, this podcast is sponsored by CH Peptides, a trusted source for high-quality research peptides like tirzepatide, BPC 157, and IGF-1LR3. With fast shipping, consistent purity, and top-tier service, CH Peptides keeps things simple and reliable. Want to learn more or book an appointment? Just call or text 707-380-6411. And don't forget to use code LikeItOrNot at chpeptides.com for 15% off of your order. That's 15% off your order with the promo code LikeItOrNot. Products are for research use only, not intended for human or animal use. Complete Health Peptides makes no claims or promises regarding the effects of any product. Ladies and gentlemen, this episode of the podcast is sponsored by Thompson Construction, an excavating and grading general engineering contractor based out of Ukiah, California. At Thompson Construction, they love what they do and they take the utmost pride in their work and customer satisfaction with great detail and attention to it. No job is too big or too small. Give them a call today for a quote, 707-391-7679. That's 707-391-7679. At Thompson Construction, they specialize in septic systems installation and repairs, land and site development, grading, drainage systems, underground utilities. They're OQ certified for PG&E excavation and backfill, swimming pool excavations. I mean, if you have a job, these guys can get it done. Give them a call today. Thompson Construction, 707-391-7679. Big supporters of the show, ladies and gentlemen, down at the Thirsty Axe. Wednesday night, every Wednesday is trivia night, and Thursday night, every Thursday is karaoke night. Both of those are free to attend for the public. On August 8th, they have the local boys Weevilism in there, so you might want to go check that out. These guys are up and coming and have a little group following going on there. On the 9th is DJ Tempo, and they've got a bunch of other stuff coming up, so check them out at their website, thirstyaxe.com, for all their upcoming events, or go in there, get a drink, play some pool, throw some axes, and give these guys some love and support. They are awesome people trying to make Ukiah a better place by providing some entertainment for all of us. So check out the Thirsty Axe. I want to tell you guys about DC Customs. Like we said before, if you haven't followed these guys on Instagram, you totally should. DC Customs Ukiah is their handle on Instagram. They're an off-road shop, a repair shop, a tire and wheel shop, driveline shop, and spray and bed liners. If you need it, they've got it. Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. at 3301 North State Street right here in Ukiah. Their website is dccustoms.net. They do it all, folks. So if you're in need of something for your rig, go down there and talk to their staff. They're wise, knowledgeable, and super friendly. It's ran by a great pair of people here in our community. And just go down there, tell them your boys from Like It or Not sent you. See if they'll give you a little price break or a little quote on something they got going on for you. So that's dccustoms.net, DC Customs. Saddle up, partners, for the third annual Rhinestone Cowboy Ball. That's right, it's time. Get ready for an unforgettable evening where your presence truly makes a difference. Dust off those old boots and join us for the third annual Rhinestone Cowboy Ball on Saturday, September 20th at the historic Ridgewood Ranch. Proudly presented by Redwood Community Services and generously sponsored by Redwood Credit Union and Comcast. This beloved tradition is more than just a celebration. It's a powerful night of purpose, connection, and community impact. Every ticket directly supports the transformative programs and services of Redwood Community Services, making a lasting difference in the lives of individuals and families across our region. What's in store, you may ask? Savor craft beer and wine and a signature cocktail at their open bar, raising a glass for hope and healing. Enjoy mouth-watering dinner by Cook's Barbecue. Uncover hidden gems in our wine pool and live auction, and dance the night away to music from Wayward Jerry, Chad Bushnell, and Billboard #1 country duo Love and Theft. A lineup that guarantees a night to remember. Tickets are $100. Or gather your crew with a VIP table because giving back should feel this good. Reserve your spot now at redwoodcommunityservices.org/cowboyball. That's Redwood Community Services/Cowboy Ball. Let's ride into the future where every person in our community has the support they need all together. My name is Carter Lane.
I'm Drew Nickel.
Welcome to the show. Oh my God. I think you have a problem, bro.
What the fuck is wrong with you? Oh my goodness. All right.
Well, folks,
We did it again.
welcome back. If you're still here, we love you. If you're not here, we love you as well.
Yeah, we understand.
Hey, before we get started, I want to give a big shout out to the guys who are doing the Art Revolution podcast. Jared and the tall bartender, Nick Johnson, have a podcast called The Art Revolution. And they're interviewing people about the artistic process, about different bands, different promoters, all sorts of stuff. And I was lucky enough to be invited on. So check out episode 11 of the Art Revolution podcast with your boy Carter Lane, and give those guys a follow and a like. They're just starting out, but they're they got the thing that makes them good hosts. It was a good time.
Oh yeah,
and it's an interesting podcast. That's
they got the Riz,
different,
as the kids say.
They got
they got Riz.
Riz.
You know what that means?
Yeah, but I think that's with a girl. Like,
So they're risen on the girl.
Yeah,
That could be
like pimp juice.
Yeah, like charisma, right?
Oh,
That's where it comes from.
Oh
dude.
ship, dude! Look at this guy.
Mind blown.
Also, we have a phone number for you guys to call us on.
911. Pick up on your phone and call 911.
911.
This is a case of emergency.
Holy shit, dude.
Yeah. Oh, dude, the there we go. Go ahead. Let them know what it is.
707-234-8926. That's where you can leave a message for Drew or I or both of us or the show. If you have a suggestion for a guest, if you want to make a comment on one of our episodes, if you want to leave us some feedback, that's the number to call, 707-234-8926. Okay, that's it. That's all the house cleaning I got.
Yeah, enough of that. We can talk about the rest later. So, all right. What's up, Mr. Swash? How you doing? Introduce
Fantastic.
yourself. Tell the people about you.
Hey, my name is Jared Schwass, local attorney.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a corporate and regular attorney specializing in the cannabis space. I've been almost for 3 years. I was working representing the county.
Right.
I recently jumped out and restarted my firm again to represent, go back in private practice.
So let's talk about that, because I'd come to bitch at the board of soups meetings. Whoever would listen, God damn it, sons of bitches are ruining our community. I came here from Berkeley to plant blueberries. God damn it. Sorry, dude, I got carried away.
You're in the red today, bro. I can tell already.
Woo! But I saw you like in a real nice suit, sitting off to the corner, like checking in. So I'm just curious, like, what exactly? You were the county council? Is that what you did?
Deputy county council, wasn't
Okay.
the head county council. Yeah.
So there's the big dog, and then your second big dog.
There's the assistant, the county council, assistant county council, and then there's deputy county councils.
Okay, so you were
yeah,
a
I was
deputy.
deputy.
Did that come with a badge?
I did get a badge, get a fob, like a badge with a fob to get into the building and everything, but
Wow, you
not
didn't have
like a
to go
sheriff badge.
You didn't have to go through security. They just knew who you were. You were like,
Exactly.
So you did that for 3 years.
Almost 3 years.
So
about,
what kind of stuff did you do for the county?
I worked on ordinances and policies. A lot of the stuff, a lot of my focus was on the cannabis program, trying to get that straightened out. Because when I joined, at that point, there was a 7-year backlog in applications, and they didn't issue any licenses. So I worked closely with the cannabis department with a great team. They got a new team when I was there too, a great team, Sarah McBurney and John Burks, and we worked to straighten out that program. And I also represented the county and defended lawsuits. And filled in with child support. So it was a plethora of work. Worked with the social services department as well. So it wasn't just the cannabis side. It was represented several other departments as well.
All right, so if we're going to compare Mendocino County to the rest of the state, on a scale of 1 to 10, what do you give our cannabis ordinance on that scale? As far as like, your ability to get a license, your ability to be competitive with a license, just like, what do you think? Where do you think we're at?
Below average, I would say. I would say like a 3 out of 10, maybe. The only reason I say that is because the limitations of the 10,000 square feet or now the 20,000 square feet, that hindered a lot of people because you look at places like Glass House. They have 5 million square feet of cultivation canopy out in Santa Barbara County, I believe. And you can't compete with that if you're limited to 10,000 and now 20,000 square feet. And then, like I said, there was a 7-year backlog of getting the permits.
From the county.
And that was becoming an issue because people had to transition from a provisional to an annual on the state level. And the state wasn't going to do any of the transitions without an issued county level permit. And so that became an impetus for a quick change in the county to get that going. So people weren't left without without a license.
So what brings it all the way up to a 3 instead of a 1 or a 0?
It's a ministerial process, so it is relatively easy to turn in your paperwork and get it. But there is issues with, and it's this also is issues with the nature of the land that people are trying to grow on. It's very rural and hilly, and so CEQA becomes a big issue at that point as well. There were issues with tree removal that we were able to iron out too, because they couldn't remove one tree in their whole property, and we adjusted a little bit. There were issues with that, and we kind of ironed it out. But it's not a 1 because people can still do it's a ministerial process, so it's relatively easy. It's not a CUP. You're not going through a hearing and having to present a bunch of evidence to support your findings.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, like, with the state law, right, which passed in 2017, what was that, Prop 420 or something corny like that? 64, okay, just checking. 64 passed. So then what? It just became up to the counties to make their own laws, or the state said you can grow as much as you want, just let the counties figure it out. So Santa Barbara was like, fuck it, we're throwing our whole dicks on the table here.
Pretty much.
And Mendel was just kind of like scared to even.
Well, you kind of, because a lot of the growers up here want to stick to the craft, and they believe to stick to the craft, you had to limit people to small.
Yeah, the corporate cannabis, not here.
Yeah, they didn't want the corporate cannabis to come up, and you have to think, hindsight's 2020, and now, but when it first opened, everyone didn't want foreign money, both foreign meaning out of the county, out of the state, and also out
I don't know about
nation.
everyone, but there was sure a loud voice, right?
Not everyone, but a majority of the growers around here didn't want a flood of that money to come in and that influence to come in and kind of ruin what was already here and what kind of created the movement in the first place. And so
they were definitely scared of that.
Yeah, I mean, there were whole counties. I think Trinity County, they restricted anyone outside the county from even applying.
So the monk said, fuck it, just hack down the forest. Yeah. We had the sheriff on here bringing up their freaking grow, so remember that? That made me nervous.
Yes, I remember that.
Oh, shit.
That's the one thing I've ever wanted to edit out of any of our podcasts, because I don't want to get capped in the fucking head.
So they wouldn't even Trinity wouldn't even let out of area people come and grow in their county.
Yeah. So like they were so restrictive that if you had to be a resident of the county to apply, and so that was that was an example of kind of the mindset at the beginning of the inception of the regulated market was because people called it the green rush. Obviously now it's hindsight it's dead. The green rush is dead. But like that was the fear. So everyone wanted to limit it. And to be honest with you, Prop 64 in the written intent of the law or the proposition that people voted on and approved, the written intent said it was going to protect small businesses, and it wasn't going to allow large grows until 2026. So what happened was that's the state law that said that? Correct. That was the Prop 64 that everyone voted on. So what happened? So Prop 64 was the adult use. I'm bad attorney right now. I don't remember the actual official name of the act, but it had to do with the adult use, and because there was already medicinal from 1999.
Yeah.
And once 64 was passed, what the legislators did is they combined the adult and the medicinal laws combined into one was Prop 94. And so what we got was MACRSA, was Medical and Adult Use of Cannabis Act. And so what that did, and then they got rid of that intent, and then with that transition, they also allowed permit stacking. And so what that permit stacking does is it allows, because the state has certain levels of licenses, small, cottage, small, medium, large, and essentially kind of got rid of those classifications because you can get a limited amount of cottage. You know, you could basically have 5.
And you could do that basically like when you used to be able to stack people's cards. Like you'd go and get people that were growing like medicinal weed. And if they had a card, they had a card, and they had a card, and they could give you the authority to grow all their weed farms. So that's what changed the state license to allow license stacking. Yeah,
exactly. And so that's on the state side. That's kind of what happened. But when you go back to your original question, is the state when they did that, when they combined into Prop 94 and when 64 was passed, it allows local governments have control over local land use. And so the state can't just say, hey, you could have to allow cultivation in these zoning districts. That's a local government authority. And so the local government has the ability to limit zoning uses, prohibit any sort of cannabis in any jurisdiction. There's actually a surprising number of jurisdictions in the state that still don't allow any business cannabis use, any cannabis businesses.
Interesting.
It's crazy, man.
So that would be a 1. Actually, that would be a 0. So
that's kind of
zero.
That's a 0.
Yeah.
Okay.
So on your
We're
scale,
at a 3.
yeah.
And Santa Barbara's a 10, right? Or
I hope I get that. I hope that the county's right. I think it is. I think it is Santa Barbara.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I think it's just crazy that we shit the bed on all this. Still, like I still think that it's.
Well, it's concerning because it's really to the point now where it's like, is it too little, too late? Like, so. You know, I have a real estate business. I'm a real estate agent. I'm a real estate investor.
Wait, you are?
I have. Yeah, dude, I'm always going to shamelessly plug myself. What are you laughing at back there, bro? That shit ain't funny, dude.
Still haven't got
1-800-500-DREW.
707-500-DREW, actually.
Oh, sorry.
But the reason I mention that is because I see this from 2 angles: the property values and what's going on in the county from that. And then secondly, I have a licensed cannabis farm. But it just seems like, you know, and I'm curious about your opinion if you have one, but it just seems like Mendocino County used to be like known for the best weed. And you could sell your product because it carried a premium to be from here. And now when you're out there talking to people, they don't know anything about Mendocino County cannabis. It's almost completely dead from...
and that's what I mean by we shit the bed.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't. I don't know that having Mendocino cannabis in your cannabis dispensary is going to carry any kind of weight to make it sell any better. At least not for more,
right?
You know, and it seems like
similar to like wine, right? Like you go in, you're like, oh, this is from Napa, or like, oh,
exactly.
This is from
you want
this
wine
place,
from Napa
like
or
from the regions,
or from fucking Lodi? You know what I mean?
Right. Damn, dude.
Well, I'm not trying to rip on Lodi.
Stray shots.
Dude, but I'm just... Well, pick somewhere else that... I almost said shitty wine, dude. But you know what I'm saying? You're dude, you want Napa County or do you want, you know, not Napa County?
Yeah, I think I think a lot of that has to do with consumer education as well. And I mean, there's a lot of factors, right? There's getting retail space is very difficult because a lot of the retailers down south, they already have their connections. They even have their own house brand and house strains. So that's difficult. And at the beginning of it, people were looking for cheapest with highest THC. You know, I think that's coming along. I think it's changing with education.
Still where it's at, I think. You know what I mean? People still want the cheapest weed, and that'll get them the most stoned. I mean, that's it, right? And so I don't know. I think we missed the boat, and maybe I'm wrong. I hope I am, but it feels like we just missed the boat on the whole educate people on why we should have been doing that for the last 7 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah, or preparing for this because everybody saw it coming.
Yeah, well, that's my whole point. People are screaming from the rooftops like, don't fuck this up, Mendocino County. This is your chance, and we seem to screw up everything that we get a chance to do. It just
I also think that
it's like Lenny from Mice and Men out there. Dude.
Yeah, I also think that there has been, and maybe still is, a big barrier in terms of the people that have grown in the hills underground here for a very long time and trusting that it's going to be legal and they're not going to get in trouble anymore. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people that are like, I don't want it to be legal. Like, we got a good thing going on here, and I'm not going to register my shit. Like, they'll know exactly where I am. You know what I mean? If you grow that way for 20 something years and then all of a sudden they're like, oh, it's legal. Just go down to the sheriff's office and give them your name and number and your property where you're at, you know? And a lot of people are like, fuck that. No way. So I think that had to do with this holdup of, you know, a small portion of this holdup of like.
And in addition to that, it's like, they also have to go into traditional business mode. You know,
well, that's it.
That was, you know, I think like that's a big transition, not only just being out in the open, but just having to deal with, you know, contracts and leases and marketing and, you know, cause you like not only have to deal with be open to the regulators, you have to be open to the entire public and sell your product. Which it's a whole different ball game.
But I feel like you're right, but that was like 2018 vibes. Like people were like, "What's going to happen?" Right? But then it was like pretty obvious that this is gonna go in, you know.
Right, but in terms of like preparation for where we're at now, that, like you said, needed to start 7 years ago, right? And so it's like.
I do think, though, the voices that you're hearing where it's like, well, we don't want corporate cannabis to come in here and take over, were those voices of like, well, we've grown in the hills for this long and we want to grow this, you know, small batch craft cannabis, which like I get. But it became pretty obvious like around 2021, right, that business model wasn't going to work because the state was scaling, like other people in other parts of the state were scaling up, and it really just became, well, no, you just don't know how to run a business at scale, which is what I think a lot of it came to. They didn't want to have to compete with bigger businesses who knew how to run a business at scale, because just because you're growing more doesn't mean you're corporate. Okay, so it might take more money. You might have to raise money. You might have the money yourself. But that doesn't mean that it's necessarily corporate weed coming in. And it's just like, well, let the handful of growers who can do this at scale, let those guys go. Take the reins off of people. Like, why did the generation of the 70s have the Fetzers and, you know, the Barras and all of these, which moved into this county, maybe even earlier than that, right? In the 50s with Calpella and all the Italians growing all the wine. And you know how many freaking oak trees they ripped out to put wall-to-wall grapes? Yeah. You know what I mean? I lived on a vineyard. Well, I lived in a house next to a vineyard, and I listened to the tractor turning around about 10 feet out my bedroom window every night, spraying my house with whatever he was spraying. And that was the Right to Farm Act. And yet we have these 100-foot setbacks for cannabis. You know, and so it just became this whole like, and I think it's a bigger thing with Mendo where it's just like it just seems like we're scared of any kind of change, any kind of industry or any kind of anything. I mean, to this day, you're fighting tooth and nail just to double from 10,000 square feet to 20,000 square feet.
Yeah, and I 100% agree that people need to get out of the way of economic development in this county, and I feel like any sort of growth, whether it not just cannabis. I mean, how long did it take for Costco to come up in here?
Best thing that ever happened in this freaking town, too. You see everybody who was against it, they're all in there on a Saturday shopping. I see you, dude. I go to the county board of soups, you know, and then the city stuff, and then look at you in here now.
And it took over a decade, or if not a decade, for them to get here. So I do think that is a bigger outlier, bigger problem in the county. Is just any sort of economic development people are against, regardless of what it is. But cannabis, you know, because then you get the cannabis farmers that are against it as well, because they don't. For some reason, just because they don't want to do it, they want to prevent other people from doing it, which I never really understood. Because it's just it's okay. We're not telling you have to do it. But let these people do it, because I think there's a misconception of they feel I don't want to speak for them, but my thoughts is that that they are scared, not scared, because they say they don't want to compete with big corporate cannabis, but they're already competing with
Exactly,
them.
bro.
They're
already out of business.
Yeah, you're already in the California market. You guys are all in the California market. It's not the Mendocino market. It's a California market. And so you're already competing with corporate cannabis. So you're cutting the hamstrings out of local businesses that could actually lift you up, because as one was it the tides raise all boats,
Rising tide, yeah.
And so to me, that a lot of people miss that concept of like, hey, let's lift up people in this county as a whole, and then we can all kind of ride that tide with them. If you support them and support what they're doing and be a part of the growth rather than be an obstacle to it. But people don't get it. And I don't understand the back to the land, the 70s, the old hippies that are really against any sort of economic development. To me, it's like, you made your money. That's how you got here. That's why you're retired. That's why you're able to show up to all these meetings at 11 a.m. and whatever.
Stay there 7 hours.
Yeah. It's like, I get it, but let our generation actually build businesses, develop, because at this point you need scale. It's kind of hamstrung right now.
No, I think you nailed it. It's like what worked for our parents' generation and for the baby boomer generation isn't going to work for us or generations younger than me, right? Because I'm kind of in the middle there. And so there has to be like this forward thinking of like new ways for us to figure it out. And it's like it seems so blatantly obvious that the next big step for Mendocino County to continue to thrive, to continue to have money, it would be to figure out how to brand the name of Mendocino in cannabis, and for the county to get out of the way, and for the citizens of the county to bless expansion that which is the cursed word, right? We don't use the word expansion when you get up to talk, because no one wants to hear that shit. But the reality of it is like, in order for us to continue to be competitive, like that's what is going to have to happen. Otherwise, we have nothing.
This is the same theme of Ukiah, though.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's the non-growth theme, and if you don't grow, you die.
And it's also, bro, it's like, how do people not see the interconnection between everything in this county? We're all connected, dude. If the grape growers aren't doing good, none of us are doing good. If the cannabis growers aren't doing good, local businesses are suffering. I'm telling you. You think the pick-em-up truck stores are selling as many Linexes and raises? Do you think the restaurants are getting, all the trimmer takeout and the, blowing $1,000 on goofy stuff? Like, it affects everybody. And where I feel this generation of like, and I said this at the county meeting, which is like, all of you guys have been here in the 70s, and trust me, we can see you. Like, it's pretty obvious who you are, who came here from wherever you came from to live your dream of growing cannabis in the hills of Mendocino County. You made a lot of money. You got away with it. Maybe even had to do a little bit of time, but you got your property and you're set. And now your property values, as you sit here barking against keeping our ability to grow more cannabis, which gave you your lifestyle, your property value just dropped 20, 30, 40% in value. It did. You only allow people to grow 10,000 square feet. Okay, well then your big ag property, your big, rangeland property, like, dude, property values here and for land are collapsing. And it's getting like, it's bad. Ukiah holds okay. Willits is soft. Forget about Laytonville. Yeah. But properties that, I would sell here as a real estate agent for $400,000 to $600,000, owner finance, putting all these deals. Those people are lucky if they're getting $250 for their property right now. It's just sitting there. And then the county is so hungry for money because their tax base is eroding, that they're going out and they're red tagging all of these old hoop houses and these things on these properties, and that's making the property values worth even less. And so they're just slitting their own throat. And they're saying, well, if you want to sell this property, we put a red tag on it. You got to pull a permit, and you got to do a deconstruction permit for this shed and that hoop house. And pretty soon, a property a guy would have sold for $250,000, $300,000. Now he's off in that thing for $150,000, and they just cut their tax basis over the next 10 years in half. on one property times, and it's coming in.
Yeah. Have you seen because I mean, back in like 2018, 19, you could probably get an additional value if they had a permit tied to it.
Yep.
Is that even an increase that value at all these days or no?
No.
Yeah, no.
I don't think so. I mean, you'll see properties that are listed for over $1 million with the licenses and they're set up, but they're not really. How many of them are actually selling?
Yeah, I've seen them. Have you seen any getting sold lately for that?
I mean, I'm
price?
not going to say none.
Yeah.
But there's not that many, not as many as there should be for, you know what I mean? Yeah. Because one of this county's attitude towards cannabis, which is, unbelievable given it's where it's made its reputation, good or bad. And then the second part of that being is like, where is this going? Where is the state market going without federal legalization? Because there's a very, and I'll let you speak to this, but there's a very limited market statewide to sell legal cannabis. But if that opens up and changes, it could be the silver lining that kind of could flip this thing and help if we are allowed to, in this county, grow more.
Yeah, I think it would be beneficial for people in this county if they're able to grow more. I think that's just economies of scale. And about the future, it's interesting because the recent Glass House raid with ICE.
Yeah,
I don't know if you guys are familiar with that.
Sure am.
So it's unsure if the DCC, the Department of Cannabis Control, the state authority on cannabis, if they're gonna assess fines, if they're going to try to close them down. So it would be interesting to see what they decide to do, because if Glass House is closed, if they lose their licenses, then I would be really interested to see what happens to the wholesale market, because they're selling 150,000 pounds a quarter at $100, $150, like $200 a pound. But and their goal is to get it down to $100 a pound. So if that entity's taken off the board, then what does the wholesale, does it bump up a little bit? Be interested to see that. For federal legalization, I'm not sure, because it would open up if we can do direct to consumer through the mail, that would be great. But everyone else can do direct to consumer to the mail, and then you're competing against everyone, all the MSOs and all the other cultivators and everyone else. So not only are you trying to market yourself to the California market, now you're trying to market yourself to the entire U.S. and people who are struggling just marketing to California market. I have a hard time thinking that they're just gonna all of a sudden gonna have a giant market throughout the entire U.S. of people trying to find their products. I think it's a great avenue to increase the market and the potential, so that people can kind of slice off their specific market share. Maybe they go and find a little nook somewhere and they're able to spread their word and get into that market or whatnot. But I hesitate of just automatically saying it's going to be a great thing for the small cultivators, because because not only are they going to increase the competition that they're going to have to compete against, you're competing against states, cannabis companies that have been having a monopoly in a state for since the inception. Is what kind of new regulations are they going to have to follow? Because as we've seen, it's not just going to be, okay, you can sell your products like any other business, and we're not going to have any like major regulations on it. It's probably going to be heavily regulated. And so there's going to be a whole set of different regulations that they're going to have to follow, and who's going to be the quickest, and is that going to be expensive? I know I'm not trying to be Debbie Downer, but
that's why we're having a conversation, right?
Yeah, I just think that, just from the experience of the California implementation of the regulated market, and seeing how that went, and seeing how everyone was so jovial and excited, then all of a sudden figuring out all these regulations, all the costs, all the taxes. The feds are going to want their tax. They're going to want their cut. So what are they going to tax it at? 25%, 30% on top of everything else. And so that's been the real issue honestly, is just how heavily it's been taxed. It was kind of pushed to get these local governments to approve cannabis. A lot of the lobbying was, pushing the tax benefits that they're going to see, and so you look in San Diego. I think a total tax is like 50% right now down in certain areas in San Diego. So like, how are you going to operate a business when you got 50% tax?
Right, and you can't use your write-offs for your normal cost of business.
Yeah, 280.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. It's crazy. So, do you think anything's going to happen with Glass House? I saw you post something today. It was like their defense was it wasn't me, right? I was laughing, like, oh, we got about 380 illegal immigrants working in our farms. We don't know how they got here. Only 8 of them were employees.
Yeah, we hired this guy to make sure they're all legal. It's this guy.
Where were you, guy?
This guy messed up, not us. So yeah, I don't know if that's an actual legal defense to what they're gonna have to go through. So I'll be interested to see what happens. I
also saw you post that they found their products, Glass House products, on the shelves of like New York dispensaries, like illegally or something like that as well.
Yeah. They've been New York's. It's been known or unknown that people have burner distros. So you get a distro distribution license here, and then you through that you move from the cultivation to packaging the distro, and then it kind of just gets destroyed because it didn't pass testing or whatnot. And the next thing you know, that stuff ends up in New York or another state.
So
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, so do you think anything will happen to Glass House? I mean, obviously it's a guess, but I mean, someone that big seems like they're probably going to be able to pay some fines and get their.
Unfortunately, I think that
they're going to get out of it.
I hope that, if for the regular market, it's like especially a company that large doing that, getting caught doing that kind of stuff, there should be enforcement on it. But there's been I don't know. I don't know for a fact, but there's been allegations that they have close ties to Newsom. So who knows if anything's actually really going to happen with them.
Interesting.
Well, yeah.
Did you child labor?
Oh yeah, they found minors there.
Wasn't me.
That's So I want to ask you why did you choose to leave the county and now you're opening a private practice?
Yeah.
So what was behind that?
I'm just more of my private practice is more of my speed.
Okay.
I think government work is kind of built in to be a slower process, and private practice is just more of my speed, and I like working with businesses and helping businesses grow, and I felt like the government maybe not helping too many businesses grow, and so I wanted to be more on the business side. Mm-hmm. Go back to the business side at least.
So what kind of things do you do and offer? Like, are you doing like license compliance and all that kind of stuff, or are you helping more people like navigate?
Yeah, I do. So when I first started working in cannabis to 2016, 2017, right in the inception of the regulated market, a lot of that was licensing, startup work. And then I transitioned into, on the buyer side, I was helping large MSOs and large state operators grow through mergers and acquisitions. And then I saw home county kind of just getting screwed and all these small farmers getting screwed. So I started my firm then. And then I started a podcast, and I was meeting a lot of these small farmers, and I realized the county was the big issue here. So I got a job at the county, and so now, and jumping back out, it's not so much the mergers now because people have seen that all the mergers just have they just consolidated debt, and then with the nosedive of the wholesale, those business models didn't work anymore. And so now it's a general counsel services. I do debt restructuring, enforcement compliance, enforcement actions, responses, and some employment work. So yeah, I have a litigation background, corporate background, regulatory background, and so I offer a full suite for fractional general counsel services for people that don't need a full-time, but they need someone that they can call, someone they can rely on, and so I'll be there.
Cool.
Nice. What made you want to be a lawyer?
That's an interesting question.
The money, dude. Duh.
Not so much the money.
That's what they all say.
You try to get breaded, bro.
That's what I would say. Not the money.
No. To be honest with you, I like helping people, and I like when people come to. I like when people come to me to fix their problems. And I like fixing people's problems.
Mm-hmm.
It makes me feel good to be like, hey, like this thing's really like. Basically, at a roadblock, and I can't. My business is either going to get tank, or it's one or the other. And I can come in and flesh that out, or even just help someone grow. They don't know what they're doing. Come in, help, just be a partner with someone, and help them, guide them to where they want to be. And so that was my big push. Is like because you never. I'm trying to think of how to phrase this. Is people usually don't mess with people that have a good attorney on their side. And so I always want to be that good attorney on people's side.
Yeah.
So this, cause
oh shit. He's got Jared, dude. We might as well just drop this shit.
So I
Better call Suave.
Exactly.
Yeah, dude.
Appreciate
I
that.
got you. Let me know if you need voiceover work.
So I played left tackle in college. And so I'm a protector.
Yeah.
And so that was that's what was my goal of being an attorney, was just being that guy where, hey, if you have a problem, give me a call, I'll call them and I'll fix the problem.
Yeah.
You know, someone once said, I can't remember where I heard it, but they're like, the law is just words. And the superpower of being like an attorney, of like being able to navigate those words and use them in a way is so powerful. It's like a magic wand, right? To be able to like not manipulate, but, bend these words into a construct that fits the outcome you're looking to get based on what, the words written down say. It's super.
Yeah. It's what's really funny about that is like you started as a litigator, which is, I'm familiar with litigation. It's civil, like lawsuits. So if you sue someone for like injuries or damages, that whenever that happens, it's litigation.
Mm-hmm.
And so I did that when I first started. And I went on the corporate, but litigation, it's funny because when you do depositions, that's all it is. People say like I'm asking you questions and you're saying you think you have the good answer, but it's my job to figure out that, get you to say what I want you to say. And if you don't say it and try to manipulate your words to put you in a corner of where I want you.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it's
this chess game, right?
It is. And that's what I didn't really fully understand. Honestly, I didn't fully understand that before, but like when I got into law school and I was like, oh, this is just a big game.
Yeah.
That's why
Right.
that's why I liked litigation at first, because litigation is a big game. And I like that a lot because you're just in there to win it. But you also have someone on the other side. You show up to work every day, and that other person's is their job to prevent you from doing your job.
Yeah.
And so
That's kind of cool, dude.
yeah, it's fun, but I like corporate work a little bit better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like helping people build businesses, and rather than just fight people in court and hopefully a judge sees it your way. Because when you go to court, it's always a coin flip, whether it's a jury or a judge. You can have the law and facts on your side, but if the judge maybe doesn't like you, maybe sees something in the other side, or sees one of the facts not the same as you see the facts, it's all a coin flip at that point.
Yeah. I watch a lot of Law and Order, so I know exactly what you're talking about.
Spot on. Suits, you should watch Suits. That's a very accurate depiction.
Suits is?
No, I'm just kidding.
It's just funny because law like is a game, business is a game, and I learned the same thing with real estate. It's just kind of like you start to judge who's got the leverage and how to create leverage in a situation or in a deal. And you can, if you play your cards right, get certain outcomes, even if it seems like, you're fucked.
Yeah, understanding leverage is massive in
Yeah.
any sort of business. But yeah, that's kind of the game.
So explain to me, you say you like corporate law. I'm curious, like how does a lawyer help people build businesses?
So how we do it, we started from the very beginning.
Like legal structures and
structure formations, equity contracts, founder deals. So you can structure your business. So you structure your equity divestment. So it incentivizes the founders to stay in it and have game in it. And then we also help with fundraising as well, and NDAs, to make sure that your IP and everything's protected, employment contracts to make sure everything that when you employ people that there's and independent contractors to make sure that so it's not misconstrued that person's not an independent contractor. So that's kind of we put them in a solid base so they have the contracts and the understanding of like, okay, when I have this agreement, when I have this relationship, I need to enter into this agreement so everything's documented. So if they when eventually that relationship goes sour, you can go back to the contract, you can rely on the contract, and you're not going to get screwed. Well, if you get screwed, then you're just going to have to go to court, but you'll win it. You should win at court anyway because you have a good solid foundation.
Because you had Jared Swash.
Yeah.
Schwas. So let me ask you, when you download a new app and they're like, read the terms in an agreement, do you read that shit, bro? Because you're like an attorney and you're like, hell no.
Do you know what's funny? So when I entered my first lease, once when I started law school, I sat down and I was reading the whole lease, and I was even like striking out words or whatnot. And I was in law school. And
the red pen out.
Yeah.
That ain't gonna work for me. I'm an attorney.
And the guy's like, "Hey, I know you're not an attorney. I know you're just a law student because you're actually reading that contract."
That's how he knew. Huh?
Yeah.
So have you heard about this whole thing though with like mediation arbitration when you sign those agreements that like, okay, so there was a lady, I think, or a guy, it was a guy, and he got hurt in Disneyland. No, maybe it was a lady. I can't remember. But somebody got hurt in Disneyland, like paralyzed on a ride or something. And then they went to sue Disney, and they were like, basically, you can't sue Disney even though you got hurt at the park, because when you downloaded the Disney Plus app and you agreed to the terms of service, there was a mediation agreement that said, should you have any dispute with Disney, that it has to be handled versus arbitration. And then they just drowned your ass in time, fees, and their own corporate people who know how to just like hose you. And so there's like this whole corporate like veil going on now where every time we agree to any of these terms and services, basically we can't sue any of these larger companies because
it's like a blanket thing on all of their entities.
Have you heard about that?
Well, because I heard about that situation in Disney. Yeah, it's interesting because arbitration, it's outside of court, but the thing is, you said drain and fees, but any defense attorney that's exactly, whether it's arbitration or the actual court, they're gonna drag it out. That's the defense is drag it out because.
Yeah, but if I walk away with $100 million Disney bucks, fuck it, I'll pay you your 20%, right?
You can lifetime membership to Disneyland.
You can win that in arbitration. Arbitration still has an independent.
But they had some crazy like statistic, and I don't know if you can find it or not. You can look it up though. Candace Owens had a dude on who was talking all about it. He was like the statistic of people who come out like positive from arbitration who were like, you know, the victim or whatever the right term is legally for, like, is something like less than 1% of people ever like come out victorious from that shit. So I don't know. It's just kind of weird. Like
they do try to split the baby is what we like to call it. So, you know, they try to find some sort of middle grounds, and maybe that isn't advantageous. I don't know how they calculated the 1% or the success rate or whatever that is, because maybe they thought they were going to get a higher judgment if they went to court, and they ended up getting a lower judgment out of arbitration, because the arbitration, they do try to split the baby. You are not going to get as high as you would in court.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, but you can also challenge arbitration rulings afterwards. I know it's just an additional cost, but it's not necessarily the end all be all. You can challenge it, but it's just an additional
So
cost.
does a lawyer actually try to solve your problems, or are they just kind of trying to like really take all your money?
Drew's got good questions.
I guess
today.
I'll just it depends.
You're asking. It depends on if they like you or whatever.
No.
lawyer.
It depends on the attorney. I mean, there's always, just like any other profession, you know, real estate,
any other group of people.
There's always going to be people trying to take advantage of other people, trying to find the quick way out, try to find the quick dollar. So it's anywhere. But I feel like there's just so much stigma, whether it's from TV or media or whatever type of media, and PI turned like the ambulance chasers or whatnot.
Yeah.
It's just there's good attorneys and there's bad attorneys, you know.
Yeah.
And so it does create a bad stigma for all of us.
It's just it's crazy.
Thanks for bringing that up, Drew.
Hey, like it or not, huh? It's just crazy what, like you said, like what you could do with a good attorney, like and how you could manipulate the law and write documents that, like, I was watching last night with my lady. We were eating dinner and we were watching the American Apparel documentary. Have you seen that on Netflix?
No.
And the dude was like, his name was like, what was his name? What's the American Apparel guy's name? Dom or Voss or Vaughn or something like that. American Apparel documentary. Anyways, it was the head like guy who created it, and he was kind of like Epstein met Hugh Hefner type of dude, right? And basically every time he, yeah, I know.
Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Say more, Drew.
If you want to hear me talk more, then I certainly can.
Don't ask Drew any questions.
Yeah, I'll pop a quarter in this ass, dude. I'll go, dude.
Is that the Epstein side?
Yeah.
You seem to know a lot about Epstein. No, just put in like American Apparel CEO. That's all you need to do. So he started this cool clothing like brand that all the hipster kids were into, and then this guy right here, pervy founder of America. What was his name?
Pervy.
This is the
Dov
guy.
Charney.
Dov Charney. Yeah, that's it. So this guy.
First thing needs to change his name. That's a terrible, shitty name.
Well, yeah, you know. So this guy. He looks like Epstein met Hugh Hefner, kind of, huh? Had a little Spielberg in there, maybe. So,
okay, come on. Where did he go?
I keep trying to get to it, dude. Quit interrupting me when I'm talking,
dude. Talk your talk. Let's go.
So this guy,
what did he do?
Started a company, started hiring all these sexy chicks to like basically sell the stuff. Had all these, risque ads, and every time he'd get people a raise, they would have to sign a like this document. What do you call it? A non-disclosure
NDA?
agreement, NDA. But it was called something else. But it's this basic agreement that if we give you a raise, you can never sue me, talk bad about me,
waiver,
do any of these things. It was all folded into one, right? Mm-hmm. He had it, and so all these chicks were like, well, and dudes were like, whatever, we want the raise, we're balling out. And then he would like rape them, tell them to come stay at his house, do creepy, weird stuff. And then there was all these chicks that basically got, assaulted by this guy. And because they signed that document when they got their money, like none of them could ever press charges, testify him in court, like talk about any of it. And it was basically like he created this legal document that
I see the big bullshit sign going on.
Yeah, I mean, you could watch it, right? Watch the documentary, but I was wondering if you saw it.
No, I haven't seen it, but I haven't researched this, but my understanding is that you can't protect yourself from
sexual
legal activities by creating an NDA, and so maybe it was just a facade to make the fear of people actually doing pressing charges, but whether or not they actually try to challenge it, whether that would actually hold up.
They did, and it worked until they went to Congress to see if it was actually legal. Type in Dov Cherney's legal document that allowed him to sexual SA people. I don't think we can say it on YouTube. Probably, yeah. You know what I'm saying.
So.
Anyways, we don't have to get too lost in the weeds on this, but it worked, and it was. I don't know if they changed the law since then. So they fired this. This dude ended up getting credited a standstill agreement as grounds for denying his request.
Well, you'll have to watch it and report back next time you come on.
Yeah, I didn't get that homework assignment beforehand.
Yeah, it's all good, bro. Put it on your Instagram. I'll watch it. I'm always reading your shit. I'm like swiping left to read the next page.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
What I think a lawyer is good for is like understanding things. You know what I mean? Like they come to you and they're like, how does this work?
Yeah.
Right? Like, I don't get this. And like, you're able to provide that information and that direction to people, which I think would be super fulfilling.
Yeah, if you're more confused after talking to an attorney, you probably should talk to another attorney.
Yeah.
Attorney
That's
should
a
be able.
rule of thumb.
Yeah, sure. Attorney should be able to take complex legal issues and give it to you break it down to a very simplistic format. And a lot of successful people. One thing they always recommend, one thing they always have on staff is they always have an attorney.
Yeah.
I can't. I've seen so many interviews with successful people, and then they said one part of their success is having a good attorney on their back. And whether or not you think you need them or not, it's just having that person to call to understand your legal standing and legal situation. I think it's important. I think there's a lot of people that don't have access to it, and so that's one thing with the fractional general counsel services that I offer. It's a relatively low monthly rate, and so it's emails, calls, and so because what I'm trying to do is bridge that gap, is to provide access to more people, because I think access to an attorney, I think people think of an attorney as super expensive, and a lot of people have surprise bills. Surprise bills are the worst. And that's kind of my learning lesson when I was first started out in my firm. Unfortunately, you talk to a client, they give you an issue, you start working on it, then you start getting calls, and you start getting more calls, and you start getting more calls. It kind of changes the issue, changes the scope of work, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, hey, here's this month, and they're like, well, what's this for? I wanted you to do this, backs. It's like, yeah, but you call me for X, you call me for Z, X, and Y, or whatever, and then so I try to make it simple. Because I want to bridge that gap. Because I do feel like having an attorney in your corner is important. I feel like a lot of people try to go it alone, which is good. People can go alone. To an extent.
Good.
It's not good.
You always see that person who represents themselves in court. You're like, they're fucked.
Yeah, basically.
Except for Ted Bundy or whatever he did.
What do you mean, bro? That guy ain't been out since.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and with the rise of ChatGPT, I think that's getting even more. But there are several issues with that. It gets you a good starting point, but they're citing fake cases and I don't know if you guys are familiar, have used AI tools or whatnot.
Dude, I'm all about it.
It lies.
Damn it.
I got you.
Well, I'm not using it for legal advice.
No, I'm not saying.
I'm using it to put
I know. I'm not saying just legal advice. Yeah, but it'll tell you what you want to hear.
Interesting. Give me an example.
And it's lazy.
So if I'm
lazy and tells you what you want to hear, sounds like
it sounds like why I love it, huh?
I caught myself, dude. Anyways, what were you gonna say? No, I don't want to say that.
Oh, so like if
it's lazy and it lies.
Yeah, so it'll try to find the easiest solution for what you're asking for, and like if you're, how do I say this? If you're, say you want to draft a letter with these certain facts, right? And you want it to say, and you ask it and you want it to say something, it'll just automatically say that something. It like won't disagree with you. So if the facts won't lead to what you want it to say, it'll just say it regardless. It won't alter.
Yeah, you're like write me a paper about how the elephant is the lightest animal on earth.
Correct.
And it's like, animal is, here's some facts about that.
Yeah, because it wants to it's responding to your request. It's not trying to push back. You can probably put some inputs in there to have it push back, but like you have to make an intentional point to do it.
Interesting.
That's really like the whole hacking of how to use AI is like learning what prompts to put into it to actually get what you want out of it. It's like if you just type in, hey, I want this and this, and then hit go, then it's going to kind of like spit out some generic stuff. But you could be like, ask me qualifying questions, and it'll be like, okay, well, do you live here? Do you like crispy donuts? Do you, and it'll ask you questions about like what you want. Maybe it's just to give you more of what you want, and then it's an interesting tool. But I agree. I wouldn't hire ChatGPT as your lawyer, dude. Doesn't sound like a good idea.
It's creating, and there's no. It's discoverable, just so everyone knows. So, like, if you get in a lawsuit and I, as an attorney, if you sue my client and you entered all your legal thoughts and strategies and everything into ChatGPT, I can go get it.
Oh, dang. Hey, like it or not, huh?
Yeah.
So
You guys are learning stuff out there.
So if anyone is trying to do that, just don't.
So pay the man his money, dude. Don't be typing it into ChatGPT like a jackass.
Because the other side will find it.
How does a lawyer charge you by the minute? Like, are you guys like and I'm not trying to lump you in with everybody,
You
but
guys. You
You
just said
guys.
you guys.
well, that's why I corrected
Not the
myself.
first
It's
time.
not-
Okay, good job.
It's not fair to throw you in that boat with
It's
all
all good.
the lawyers.
It's not the first time.
But like you see, okay, Drew's calling, and you have like one of those like, you know, like when you're playing chess and you hit the thing to time how long your move is, and you like, okay, Drew's calling. Hello, Drew. How are you?
Yeah. There's we have timers. It's like billing software. You can just built in timers. It's always up, so you just poop, and then when you start working on something, you just hit that start timer.
Does it do it automatically, or do you have to hit it?
You have to hit it and stop it. And you
Like if you be forgetting.
and
like,
to be honest
shit.
with you, your first years, it's crazy how my whole life began. I began tracking my life in 6-minute increments because we do 0.1s. So since 6-minute increments, and that I like it is strange to fully understand. Like I'd be doing something like, oh, this is a 0.4, this is a 0.3, this
Scrolling
is
on
a
Instagram.
0.5. Like, it's like, because then if you really get deep into it, you're like, how much money am I wasting doing this? Or I didn't get that far, but like you start really tracking your time doing everything because that's what you're getting trained to do that. You track your time doing everything. You always look at a clock when you start. You always had a watch on at the beginning. And so you every 6 minutes, whether and if it goes to 7, that's 12.
I see. That's good to know. So
Yeah.
if I talk to you for 7 minutes, not you, but if someone talks to an attorney for 7 minutes, they're getting billed for 12.
Yeah, because that's anything above, because it's 0.1 is 0
That's what the
is like
increments you
1 to
build by.
6 minutes.
All right,
Well, at least
yeah.
that's most. I couldn't imagine an attorney going smaller than that, but
Right.
most is every firm I've been with is 0.1. But that's part of the reason why I don't like the hourly billing is because I want to build a relationship with the client, and I want to figure out what their interests are, how their family's doing, have those conversations. It's not just like all business all the time. So because I see it more as a partnership. If I'm trying to help you and like make them feel comfortable of relying on me and giving me all the information. Because the worst thing you could do, not only just lying to your doctor, is lying to your attorney. Because the attorney needs all the facts, and you have to understand it's confidential. They won't go they shouldn't go blabbing out everything. But you have to be honest. And how you get that, as an attorney, you have to build a rapport with them. But at the same time, you're going to try to bill your client for building rapport with them. You know what I mean? So
Well, that's what I mean.
You
That's-
want to take that out of it as much as you possibly can.
that's what I'm trying.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard though because you feel like, oh, this lawyer's cool, and they're asking me questions, but then you're like, wait a minute.
Then you get the bill.
But
Then
also
the bill
like
comes, dude.
But also, like, counseling is your job, right? Like,
Yeah.
so you have you have to do it that way. So it's hard. I can imagine it's hard. To
Yeah, the hourly
navigate that.
the hourly billing is difficult, and I feel like it's almost it doesn't align the incentives properly because you, as an attorney, it's like, oh, I need to bill this client. Like I need to I call it turn in the file. I need to turn the file to make sure. And the thing is, it's good attorney work because I'm turning the file. I'm paying attention to your file. I'm making sure this is, when I say files, I'm talking like litigation stuff. And so I'm reviewing your file on like a bi-weekly, monthly basis or whatever it was, and making sure everything's covered. And like, so that's good for the client, but it's also like, I've also, how many times can I turn that? And if if everything's done and nothing's updated, I'm still going to turn it. You know what I mean? And so like that kind of incentive doesn't feel good to me.
Yeah.
'Cause it's like, that's not what being an attorney is about, in my opinion.
Yeah, and also it's like if you didn't, people would just talk to you all damn day because they're just nervous or excited or whatever the case is, right? So it's kind of like
It's finding a gap, it's just, that's client control.
next time I'm gonna be like, on ChatGPT. I'm like, okay, tell Jared that I want to start a trust in 6 minutes or less using myself as the trustee and the family trust of the Drew Nickel.
Yeah, I don't think you know what? I don't think I have space in my client pool for that, but I can refer you to someone.
I'm like, hey, dude, hold on one second. Look, my computer wants to tell you something.
No, hell no, dude.
I
He don't want you as
I
his
can
client.
refer someone that could do that in 6 minutes.
Bro, I'll be the best client you ever had, I swear.
Lies.
I don't even know what we're gonna do yet.
But
something
for
great.
a monthly fee, I can wrap in that trust. You know.
All right, so how
There we
much?
go.
I got LegalZoom for like, what is it, $17.99? Like, it's an app that'll send a letter to the freaking,
I'm sure they'll solve your issue.
to the valet driver
Yeah, right.
who I got on camera eating all my mints from the center console.
Did he? Did that happen?
I've gotten some weird stuff going on. Like where you want someone to just send a letter to your attorney from an attorney to scare him for doing some stuff. So that's like,
That
right?
Yeah, I know. You got weird
that's
stuff
included
going
in
on.
that.
Like, what if
we can include
you have
that.
a valet driver, you notice like he drives your car around while you're at dinner instead of parks it.
What's with this valet people?
And I would address the letter to the restaurant or the hotel, not the actual valet.
There you go. Put them all in.
You gotta
Jared.
get
His employer.
Yeah, the employer. You
Yeah,
gotta go
'cause
for who got the pockets.
He's got the cheddar, right? All right, you're I like it. You're hired.
You gotta get the people with the pockets. That's why you see these lawsuits with 20 names on it.
Yeah.
So you're saying you charge people a monthly fee, and then
That's an option. It's an option. General counsel fractional general counsel services. We can do bespoke billing, whether it's just calls and emails, whether it's calls, emails, contracts, whether it's calls, emails, demand responses or demand letters. Kind of we can work together to figure out what the level of services you need, and then apply a rate to that. And we can also do a trial. We'll do a trial for like a month or two to find the sweet spot. And so I work with clients to figure out appropriate billing. And then if it's not a flat rate monthly service, I try to do flat rate stuff. So because I don't want surprise billing, and I want people to understand what the total cost is going to be. And so, sometimes I win, sometimes I lose some on those. Sometimes I take some on those. It's just kind of give and take. But to me, I feel like that's a better they call it value pricing, because it's like I think it's better in the sense, and I think that's going to be the growing wave for the legal field in general with the rise of AI, because AI is going to get better. It's going to get smarter. It's going to get easier to use, and it's going to be able to pump out better work product. So I think value-based pricing is the way to go anyway. So it's I work with people to find the right space for them.
Are lawyers using AI to find like case law that they can use to refer to for what's going on, or is that still like a little lazy way?
So there are AI tools that are partnering with current legal research tools. So they are intertwining themselves right now. I wouldn't rely on ChatGPT because it is inaccurate. I test it out a lot. I do that, and then I do my own research. Then I do my own research, and there are inaccuracies in there. And so I wouldn't rely on ChatGPT, but I haven't tried the legal research tool, the AI legal
You need
research
some
tools.
special lawyer shit, dude. The AI lawyer version.
There's-
He charges you every 6 minutes.
There's still that's the thing. There's still issues there because I don't
that's
think
what I was wondering.
It's quite there yet.
I don't think it's quite there, and I also I'm not sure if they have worked out the confidentiality issues. I think that's to me. I think that's the biggest huge issue.
Is it discoverable?
Is it discoverable or not? Yeah.
Interesting. Wow. Blowing my mind with all this lawyer talk.
By the way, we're 102 minutes into it, divided by 6. We're gonna get quite a big bill. For
Oh
this, dude.
shit, dude. So, Like It or Not is looking for more sponsors. If you want to sponsor the podcast, pay for Jared's time here today.
Oh, it's super cool though.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, dude.
Hey, thanks for having me.
appreciate
So, do you have an
being
office in town, or?
I work out of my home. My office is based out in San Francisco. I go there when needed. Right now, it's been about three times a month.
So if people need your legal services, how do they get in touch with you? What's the best thing for them to do?
Email me, jared@schwasslaw.com, or give me a call, 415-651-1463.
Cool. Or follow. What's your Instagram?
At Jared Schwass.
Yeah, there you go,
dude.
He's got some good stuff on there. So before we let you go, like I saw you post something else about Jared Huffman bring some law in about legacy growers or something like that. What was that all about?
Yeah, so Jared Huffman, the congressman for this area, he has proposed a bill to allow small producers, cultivators, and manufacturers to use the post office to mail their products throughout the state, throughout the country, if it's from a legal state to a legal state. It's a proposed bill in Congress right now.
We don't need more people in the post office.
Yeah,
That shit's crazy. You guys ever go to the post office?
Not if I don't have to.
Right.
it's crazy.
Anyways, sorry to interrupt.
No, you're all good. You're all good.
The man.
No, I'm voting no on that shit. Get out of the post office. We don't need any more people fucking around in there making it fucking hours and a half long wait.
Smells like weed in here. God damn it.
Yeah, they won't need sniffing dogs anymore.
That sounds like a good way to get caught up by the feds, dude. They're like, oh, you mailed it state to state. Yeah, that's funny. Little Mr. Huffman over there thought that was a good idea. Like, here you are, dude.
I don't know. I don't know the mindset behind the bill. I don't know what the purpose is of it, but thinking through it, practically speaking, I don't know how that gets implemented because so who's going to double check that it's from a licensed cultivator or manufacturer from the state? Who's going to check that it's the receiving end's license? Who's going to check the product to make sure that the product meets the regulatory standards and is what it actually is purported to be?
Not the employees working at the post office.
Yeah, no, that's my mailman will do it. He's great. He gives my dog a treat.
My dad was my dad was a mailman, so I have nothing against the post office. I think they're great people, and I think they do a fantastic service, and it's a much needed. Going to door, getting every door touched every single day
That's crazy.
It's crazy
Yeah.
to think about.
It really is.
But to add on that kind of layer of regulatory oversight on on that kind of office, I don't see it working. So I know
that would seem like a cool business though to open in California. Like besides the post office is a weed shipment.
Maybe a
business.
lawyer could do it.
Yeah, I mean that.
He's all, God damn it, Drew.
Yeah, dude. So like,
don't call me.
Yeah, but then you're thinking of what? You're just gonna limit it to one operator. You're gonna build in a monopoly. Like that's not free market either. So it's practically speaking, I think it's more of, I think what the purpose of that is more sentiment than practical implementation.
Posturing.
It's saying, hey,
Is this an election year coming up?
Hey, just let you know, I support you guys.
I'm smooching buns, even though.
I support you guys, but I don't have any leeway, or I don't have any push to get real change done.
Someone could just put this ridiculous bill out as a signal that I'm supporting you guys, and it's never going to pass anyways.
And so that just practically speaking, because I have experience with
shady motherfuckers
with the implementation of the cannabis program, and I just don't, and like and what regulations is that product going to have to follow? Is it going to have to follow where it got sent from, where it lands, and then even if all those practical implications are fixed, the operators are then going to have dual regulatory standards for the product that they sell to the in-state and then the products they sell to each state that they're shipping to. So they're going to have additional costs, whether it's different labeling, different testing, different quarantine standards. I don't know.
Wow.
It's
seems like a can of worms.
It's a very nice sentiment. It's a very nice thought, and I do want to say I do think it would be a great idea. It would be great for small producers to be able to ship direct to consumer. I think that would be amazing if they could. I just practically how the current regulatory scheme is without an overhaul of the entire regulatory scheme and federal legalization as a whole, lifting a lot of the regulatory hurdles, I don't see how it works practically.
So we talked about it a little bit, but I also saw you posting that. Would you post Donald Trump has signaled to several people? Don't worry, we can talk about Donald Trump on here. That he's pushing to reschedule cannabis from Schedule 1 to Schedule 3. Do you think that's going to happen in the next 4 years? What's your thoughts on that?
It depends. I know it's a horrible turning answer, but it depends. It depends if he feels a need to have a midterm bump. That's the only push I can see.
You think that'll be good for him or bad for him to do that?
I think it'd be great. It's cannabis. Access to cannabis is like a 75% approval rating throughout the country. So people want access to medicinal. That's medicinal and rec combined. So people want access. It's a very popular topic. It just blows my mind how it's so popular and just doesn't get any traction on the federal level. I mean, I understand why, but it's infuriating that it doesn't get any traction on the federal level.
Why?
Why it doesn't?
Why doesn't it? Because they're getting paid by alcohol and tobacco.
There's no big player ready to just jump in and swallow everyone up and take the lead. And
there's no lobbyists either for cannabis yet.
There are there's lobbyists. Yeah, there are a lot of associations and lobbyists.
There would be if we could create a freaking market here.
I mean, and Matt Gaetz just signed a contract with True Leave to lobby the federal government to get something passed. So I think that the parties, it's such a bipartisan issue but they don't want it to be a bipartisan issue. I think a party wants to own it, and the party that does it wants to make sure that they own it. And so I think that's an issue as well. Not only just the money, but the issue.
They want to say we did it.
Yeah, they want to say we did it, not them. They didn't want to do it.
We're the cannabis guys.
Exactly. They want that bump. And so I think the infighting is ruining. I mean, not only that issue, but we can go further on that. But and so my prediction is if he feels like a midterm bump, then I think something will happen. But until then, and a lot of the tea leaves that I've been seeing with the GOP lawmakers is they're not supportive of it. The DEA head. I think his last name's Cole right now. He's kind of hinted at not being that supportive of it either, but I think he'll step in line if Trump wants it. He'll get it done, just like a lot of people in that administration. And so I don't think he's gonna feel the stress of the midterm though. So I don't think it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
These shady bastards.
And what
it's
about
all fucking game?
Well, it's politics.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So sick of it.
It would be nice if we can just get stuff done that the country needs, and without the political game getting in the way.
Tired.
Yeah.
Do you think they're playing political games with the California cannabis regulations? Like, it just seems like they've almost built it not to work. They overtaxed it, and maybe that was because everybody's just licking their lips on the fat hog coming off the farm. But it almost. You know what I mean? They're like sharpening the knives. They see that hog coming on down. They're like, yeah.
Yeah, no, that was a real sentiment. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, go.
Yeah, but that was a real sentiment. Jumping, like I kind of alluded to it at the beginning, is that was a lot of the push to get, especially all these local jurisdictions to open up. I don't think anyone foresaw wholesale drop into a couple $100 a pound. I think people predicted and build business models at like maybe $1,000 a pound, maybe just sub $1,000 a pound, and then that just all of a sudden your business model doesn't work. And I think the regulations were built on that same assumption, and they're
just moving too slow.
Yeah,
to adjust.
And I don't know if there's any. They
don't seem like they want to.
I haven't heard any sort of sentiment to just take a stab at the regulations and change that.
It's like, okay, we got that done. Let's forget about that. That sure was hard for us, right? Ooh, man, we actually had to do some real work there for a minute.
I mean, look how long it's taken just to get the excise tax changed. I mean, it hasn't changed.
So that went into effect July 1st, right?
July 1st, it went from 15% to 19%. And on July 1st, and there's a bill, AB 564, that just recently passed the Revenue and Tax Committee subcommittee, and now it's going to the appropriations committee. And I think that's the final pass before it has to go get signed by the governor. And he said he'll sign it once the bill is putting on his desk. But that thing, that bill was started months before July 1st, and we're still haven't even seen it get passed. And there's been, every time it's gone to a committee, there hasn't been a single no vote. So that's kind of the governmental slowness of it. It's like, it seems everyone in the state wants it. Well, not everyone, because there are people that want, the people that are relying on the foundations and the programs that are relying on those tax funds. They're going to be, they want to see that increase in tax, but so not everyone's for it. But a lot of people are for the bill and to go back to and they're not going to abolish the tax. They're just going back to the 15% instead of the 19%. And so, yeah, that's kind of the problem with government. It takes too long. Moving. It's really slow moving.
Whatever happened to that big gas increase that was supposed to happen? The gas tax.
Oh, you mean because they're going to start shutting down refineries?
No, wasn't there a California approved gas tax that like was supposed to happen on the 1st of July or something like that? And
yeah.
I'd never seen any increase. 64 cents a gallon or something. It was supposed to go
July
up
1st.
And it never did.
Yeah. Well, just because
maybe that's slow moving too. But I went and filled up my tank the night before, thinking that I would wake up in the morning and that shit would be $1 more, and it was the same. Yeah,
got your log of chew at the casino with mint flavored. Filled up your gas on
where the fuck is this shit? I mean, I don't want it, but like, damn.
Claims California gas prices will go up. You always move it.
Quit scrolling, dude. He's reading.
First word, false.
Yeah, false. There are 2 separate changes to fuel price expected on or around July 1st. A legislative mandate and voter approved gas tax increase of 1.6 cents and updated fuel standards that could, according to experts, translate to 5 to 8 cents.
Oh.
So we'll see.
So the 1.6 is the immediate, and the rest is potential adaptation to the regulation.
We're like frogs in a pot. They can't just put it on, high. They want to start cooking you slow.
Be a low slimmer.
Yeah.
Just take them 1 cent at a time. Man.
Well, that one got me because I saw that shit and was like, fuck California, gas taxes are going up 62%.
You got to read the article, right? Not the headline.
I guess so. You live, you learn.
Yeah, I don't know, because it seems like there's like some grand conspiracy to like basically put everybody out of business in cannabis and then come and pick up the pieces for pennies on the dollar. But, maybe that's not really the case. Maybe it's just inept government moving slow past taxes. They thought they were going to have a fat hog, and it turned out to be a long winter, and there's not as much meat on that bone as they thought.
Yeah, I wouldn't say there's any sort of conspiracy. I mean, who knows? We won't know until we know. But
until they get all that shit, for pennies on the dollar.
But I don't. But what's the point of tanking the market so you get to take over a horrible market? You can sell your product for $100 a pound when they're not going to just stop the traditional market. And a lot of people have gone back into the traditional market, so you're still going to have to compete with those guys, and you're never going to. Well, that was kind of
my point when we were talking to the sheriff. It's like you got Glass House on one end, and then you have like all these mungs in Trinity on the other, and between the two of them, weed's $2.50 a pound. It's like. It's like, hey, send some guys up there and, help us tax-paying growers out by, leveling the playing field here with some of the people that just aren't trying to go through the regulations. And the sheriff said, you know what? It's not against the law. It's like, basically, we're going to write them a ticket.
Yeah.
We're not taking them to jail.
Yeah. At this point, the way to support the regulated market isn't necessarily, in my opinion, isn't necessarily enforcement action against the traditional market. It's to fix the regulated market and allow ease of access and ease of entry and ease of operation, rather than that's focus on enforcement and not try to fix the regulations and the hurdles that everyone has to go through. I mean, if we really, the big gorilla in the room, the big issue, in my opinion, especially up here, is CEQA. CEQA is such a it's such a large hurdle that a lot of people have to jump over. And if you have 10,000 square feet of cultivation space only, and you're trying to have environmentalist reports come up and do multiple different types of reports, whether it's, sensitive species, if you have some sort of, bullfrog management, just.
No, seriously, bro. What kind of flowers and grass grow?
Bullfrog management?
Yeah, you have, and
bullshit management, dude.
Yeah, and then you need and then if there's a dead tree that you need to remove, you need a professional come up and sign off. It's just that kind of stuff that it just adds cost after cost after cost, and then you're getting taxed out the wahoo, and then
Meanwhile, if you're growing anything else, you don't have to go through all that stuff.
Correct.
Which is that's the whole crazy thing. Like, that's what we're saying. It's like, who's making these?
How about rezoning some of this like letting us use more of this ag land?
But like he's saying, that's great. But if you have to go through
use ag,
yeah, you can already grow on ag. You could rezone
right, but
rezone it for what?
No, I'm just saying, you can't grow all of it. Like, you can't tear out a vineyard and grow the whole thing in weed now, right?
Right. And if you wanted to, like he's saying, then you got to go through this whole environmental impact study on the property, which takes so long and costs so much money. And it's like, but if you were going to plant tulips, corn, anything other tan grapes, you don't have to go through that stuff. Yeah. And that's kind of my point, where it seems like they're sandbagging us.
Well, how's the asparagus market?
I mean,
it makes your pee stink,
we got to figure out something.
Kind of the simplest answer is to go back to the state and just transition it from a commodity to an ag crop.
Yep.
So that way all the local governments can treat it like an ag crop. And then if wherever you can grow asparagus or tomatoes, you can grow cannabis. That would be
why isn't Huffman doing something like that?
Well, he's not a state legislator. That would be his. That would probably be his response.
Yeah. All right. Who is? We have to get a state legislator.
McGuire,
right? All right.
Mike McGuire.
Yeah.
All right.
Great guy if he does that.
Got real quiet in here for a second.
Real quiet. Anything else you want to say, man? It's been a pleasure having you on, dude. Thanks for coming on, and
I appreciate you guys having me on. It's been fun, and I appreciate it.
Right
yeah.
On.
Well, if you need some legal services, this is your guy. He'll work with you, and he's that powerhouse attorney you need in your back pocket to really make people shake in their boots.
That's right.
Do us a favor. Wherever you're hearing this, listening to it, please share it with your friends, family. If you saw any value, we would love a subscribe on the YouTube. We are getting ever so close to 200 subscribers.
Wah, wah, wah. Hey, what if we hit 200
like
subscribers on our 200th episode?
Whoa.
Can we make some sort of incentive to make that happen, Joseph? This is going to be 196.
Okay.
So we have 4 more episodes, ladies and gentlemen, to make it to 200 subscribers on our 200th episode.
We're going to beat it, though, dude, because we only need 4 more people. Like, if you're listening to this and you like the podcast and you don't...
4 more?
You don't subscribe to our YouTube channel, please do.
We're at 203.
What are we at?
203.
Nailed
Yeah, boy! Woo!
Wow. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for helping us to get to our goal.
Dude, and we're also almost about to pop 5,000 Instagram followers, so you can follow us there as well, which I'm super stoked on.
We popped it a few times, but then it's come back down.
And then we went and talked about Trump in L.A. and just, God damn it. Bad for business.
The retention. We need to work on the retention.
We can get them and then we burn them down. Anyways, we love you guys. Thank you for the love and support. Share the show.
We'll see you next week.
Appreciate you, brother.
Appreciate you.